9 Coronation Street spoilers for next week 11th to the 15th of August. Next week on Coronation Street. Theo cracks under pressure. Carla plans to propose. Doran goes missing. And a cheeky photo causes issues for Abby and Carl. 1. Theo reaches breaking point. After discovering that his former conversion therapist is in a relationship with ex-wife Danielle. Since Theo moved out of the family home in order to embrace his true sexuality and enter into a relationship with Todd, Noah has been using every trick in the book in an attempt to save Theo's soul and bring him back into the fold of their church. Todd soon found himself arrested following an altercation with Noah, and was forced to sit through one of the group therapy sessions with gritted teeth as part of a restorative justice program. When Todd discovered that Noah was now seeing Danielle, with the pair colluding against Theo, the resulting confrontation in the bistro saw Theo's son Miles lunge towards Todd. As Theo stepped in, he accidentally struck his son, leading to Danielle banning him from seeing both kids. Next week, Theo's mood hits rock bottom when Todd hands him a leaflet from Noah's church, promoting traditional family values complete with a photo of Theo's family. Shaken and angry that his own family are being used in the homophobic campaign, Theo skips their planned lunch and vents his frustration by trashing the builder's yard. Gary returns to find the place in chaos and is stunned at what's happened. But rather than lashing out at Theo, he ends up being an unlikely confidant. 2. Gary goes after Noah. Later in the week, Theo urges Gary not to get involved with Noah, worried it could ruin his chances of seeing his kids. But Gary isn't swayed and heads to the community center to confront him. As Gary lies in wait in the community center with a hammer, Maria grows suspicious after spotting his location on her phone, and sets off to track him down. But what will she find when she gets there? 3. Audie is questioned by the police. Elsewhere, Audie's life continues to fall apart after the truth finally came out about his party at number 7, and the robbery at the shop. After running up debts of £6 at the corner shop whilst Dad Dev was in India, Audie had enlisted Brody to stage a robbery in order to claim on the insurance. Unfortunately, Audie later realized he had forgotten to pay one of the premiums, meaning the insurance wouldn't pay out. A backup plan concocted with Bernie also fell though, after they planned to utilize £25 that Dev's aunt was gifting towards the wedding to clear the debt, with Bernie secretly doing the wedding on the cheap. But when Aunt Ronnie walked into the Rovers to find the punters partaking in some pole dancing at Dev's stag party, Ronnie made it clear that Bernie was not good enough for her nephew. Dev ordered his aunt to leave, and she took her money with her. Following the failed wedding, called off after Bernie suffered an allergic reaction to the lilies in her bouquet, Audie was finally forced to come clean to his dad about the shop. Disappointed, Dev branded his son as a failure. Ashamed, Audie turned to drink, and when Lauren came looking, he finally confessed that he had been the one inadvertently responsible for spiking her at the party. Feeling low after overhearing Amy tell Asha that she'd felt nothing during the kiss with Audie, he had decided to spice things up by sharing some LSD with Nina and Summer. But things went awry when Lauren accidentally took Audie's drink, leading her to have terrifying hallucinations of former abuser Joel, and to fall down the stairs at Underworld suffering broken ribs and a ruptured spleen. Having taken the first steps into a relationship with Lauren since then, she was furious that Audie had kept the truth from her, accusing him of being like Joel. When Audie returned home and confessed his part in Lauren's spiking, it was the last straw for Dev, who later told his son he could no longer support him. He had been talking to cousin Vikram, and has arranged for Audie to go and work for him in India. Next week, Amy comes across a miserable Audie sitting alone in Victoria Gardens. She pulls him into a hug, assuring him that he's a good person and she knows he never intended to hurt Lauren. Back at number 1, Audie quietly admits that he wishes their relationship was more than friendship, prompting Amy to confess she feels the same. They share a passionate kiss, before heading upstairs. Later, as a post-coital Audie and Amy head back to number 7. The mood is abruptly interrupted when PC Jess intercepts them, and informs Audie he's being taken in for questioning. Has Lauren decided to take her revenge by going to the police about the spiking? Later in the week, Bernie attempts to convince Dev to give Brody a job at the shop. But a bitter Audie overhears and exposes Brody as the person responsible for bringing drugs to the party. With the truth out, Bernie suggests postponing her honeymoon so Dev can focus on repairing his relationship with Audie. Dev agrees, though insists Bernie should still take the trip herself as the rest will do her some good. Will Dev and Audie be able to move past their issues? 4. Carla plans to propose. Across the street, now settling into their brand new home at number 6, Carla is already planning to take the next step with partner Lisa. The week begins with Carla and Lisa deciding to do something a bit different by heading to a life drawing class together. Yet their evening is abruptly brought to an end thanks to another Betsy-related mishap, leaving them bailing out earlier than planned. Over at the factory, a sheepish Betsy shows Carla the latest batch of vest tops she's been working on, where she's accidentally printed the wrong logo. How will Carla react? Carla's got more pressing matters to worry about, however, when she reveals to an overjoyed Ryan that she's planning on proposing to Lisa. Later in the week, Carla anxiously waits for the post, telling Ryan that the engagement ring's arrival is imminent. Meanwhile, Lisa's quietly hatching her own jewelry-related plan, arranging a special gift for Betsy's upcoming 18th birthday, a ring that carries Becky's fingerprints as a sentimental keepsake. When Carla's ring finally lands, she wastes no time putting the rest of her plan into motion. She enlists Glenda's help at the Rovers, asking her to discreetly slip the ring into a glass of champagne ready for the big moment. Carla then calls Lisa at work, insisting they meet at the pub for a drink. But as Carla sets the scene, will Lisa cotton on to what's about to happen? 5. Battle lines are drawn between Steve and Tracy. Next door at number 1, Steve and Tracy's divorce is turning predictably messy. As the family sat down to dinner last week, alongside Ken and Steve's new partner Cassie, Amy was suspicious when Tracy suddenly announced that she wanted to settle things with Steve amicably. Tracy had previously stated her intent on going after Steve's stake in the streetcars business, but claimed to have had a change of heart. Instead, Steve could keep his business, and she could keep the flower shop. Next week, however, it seems that Amy's suspicions were well-founded, when Steve calls into the Preston's Petals to reveal that his solicitor has now received the true valuation of the flower shop and he wants his share. Tracy is fuming, convinced Amy must be behind the leak. Later, Steve packs up and announces he's moving out until the divorce is finalized. Sick of all the fighting. 6. Doran goes missing under Steve's watch. Steve isn't moving far, with Tyrone agreeing that Mum Cassie can move Steve into their place for the time being. Unfortunately, Tyrone doesn't clear this with Fizz first, leading to tension between the pair. It does mean that Steve is around later in the week. However, when Tyrone needs someone to take care of infant son Doran, Henry Meller. Unfortunately, a somewhat out-of-practice Steve soon falls asleep in front of the telly. When he wakes, he panics when he suddenly realizes that Doran is missing. As a frantic search commences, Steve's horrified when he realizes that Doran could have hidden himself away in an old fridge that's just been taken away on the back of a truck. 7. Have Carl and Abby been rumbled? Elsewhere on the cobbles, Abby continues to see brother-in-law Carl behind Kevin's back, and their affair threatens to be rumbled when Hope snaps a cheeky photo. After receiving a text from Carl who wants to meet up for some afternoon delight, Abby fakes a migraine to get out of working at the garage. But back at number 13, Abby feels guilty about doing anything in the marital home, so Carl suggests they go for a drive instead. As they approach the precinct, they spot Tyrone working on a car up ahead. It's too late though, Tyrone has spotted Carl. Carl quickly jumps out to intercept him as Abby ducks down in the passenger seat, desperate to avoid being seen when she's supposed to be at home convalescing. Will Tyrone spot her? 8. A bum deal for Tyrone. Later in the week, unhappy about being refused permission to go to a gig with Jack, Hope turns the tables on Tyrone by revealing that she's snapped a photo of his builder's bum. Cassie can't help but tease Tyrone over the picture. But when Abby takes a look at it, she's horrified to spot that she and Carl are visible in the background. Further panic sets in when Kevin asks to see it, and Abby manages to convince Tyrone to strike a deal with Hope. If she deletes the photo, then she can go to the gig with Jack. Abby despairs when Hope declares that she still plans to post the picture online anyway. So she hurriedly tasks Carl with a mission: get himself inside number 9, and retrieve Hope's phone before it's too late. 9. George's date is scuppered. Also next week, George is looking for love again following his split from Eileen earlier this year. But his foray into the world of online dating doesn't go as planned. When George comes into the Rovers with a new shirt, he admits to Glenda that he's arranged to meet a lady named Samantha there for a date. But when Samantha turns up shortly afterwards, both she and Glenda are shocked as they recognize each other. They were best mates at primary school. As the two share an excited reunion, the idea of an intimate date for George seems firmly on the sidelines. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for more movie spoilers next week. Goodbye and see you again.